Hey guys, it's Leo Stargazer. I'm here today with a tarot reading in honor of the new moon in Scorpio. The new moon in Scorpio takes place on Monday, November 13th, and this new moon is going to be very transformative. At least it's promising to be very transformative. This is the first new moon in quite a while that we're having in Scorpio that isn't an eclipse. So this moment definitely signals a new beginning, an ending as well, but an ending that's going to lead to a new beginning. And this week, at the end of the week, we have a Mars Cazimi also in Scorpio. So whatever intentions we set with today's new moon are going to be given a big active boost of clarity towards the end of the week. So I'm hoping that this spread can really help us understand and land on a really valuable, crucial, deep, and intense intention. As you can see, we'll be centering this reading around the Death card. Death is associated with Scorpio, and while death can represent an ending, of course, and new beginnings, it really represents the moment of transformation. And that's the moment that we will be offered and be in as this new moon occurs. So I'll be doing a 4-card draw around death in honor of the new moon in Scorpio. And like I said, I hope that it helps us set an intention, but I also hope it helps us understand part of our deepest self and helps us understand what is ending and what is beginning. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I shuffle, let's take a deep breath. Let's center ourselves. Let's start to look in. Start to imagine going really deep inside of your psyche. Think about what house Scorpio is in your chart. Think about what the eclipses in Scorpio were for you. But above all, just center, and let's take a couple more deep breaths, and then I will draw. Okay. The first card I will draw will be in the position of above. So what is on the surface of our psyche? What is at the forefront? What is outside of us? The 3 of Cups. Okay, so if that's above, what is below? What is hidden deep within? Justice. Okay. What is ending as this new moon occurs? What is coming to an end? The Page of Cups reversed. Okay, and finally, what is beginning? What is this new moon beginning for us? The 5 of Wands. Okay, a very interesting and dynamic outcome. Let's start though with the first card we drew, which was in the above position. So what was on the surface? What is outside of us? What are we maybe projecting? We got the 3 of Cups, which is absolutely beautiful. The 3 of Cups here is saying that in your world right now, there is a celebration. There's cause for a celebration, certainly. If you don't feel that, I would definitely find a way to celebrate with people. We are definitely going into a season of celebration. And so I think if we can really encourage that, encourage communities, encourage celebrating communities, celebrating within communities, celebrating accomplishments, finding out what you have accomplished, owning that, and then praising yourself for that, praising others for how they helped you, working together, and celebrating. All of that's on the outside. So that's really, really beautiful. Again, if that doesn't reflect your current experience, this could potentially be an outcome of the new moon. So there's a potential that the Three of Cups here, the celebration I'm talking about, could be the result of the intentions we set on the new moon. Again, it could also just be that it's something that you aren't owning up to, that it's something that you aren't giving yourself enough credit for. And I think that this card showing up as above shows that on the outside, celebration and community engagement should be at the forefront. I find it very interesting that below, so within us, inside of us, the deep part of our psyche, the part of us that Scorpio tends to reveal is justice. I think that's fantastic. I think that there's a sense of balance here. There's a sense that you are able to judge the deepest parts of you, or at least analyze those parts accordingly, meaning that you're able to see what both sides, your light and your shadow, you're able to analyze both of those sides. I don't think there's a ton here about making a decision about that within. And again, maybe this new moon will help activate that. Maybe this next lunar cycle will help activate that. The new moon is in Scorpio, so there's a chance that you may be beginning a kind of deep dive into your psyche. And I think that justice here shows that you're going to be balancing all sides of that. And that's good. Be analytical about it. Don't be overly critical, don't be harsh, but definitely honor justice showing up here by taking all sides of you seriously. I love seeing justice in below. I love seeing justice as our deepest self, because it denotes balance, which I think is really beautiful. Again, remember, Venus is in Libra right now. So I think maybe that's a little bit of her showing up here too, to make a little bit of a statement. Okay, then we moved on towards ending. What is ending as we finish off one lunar cycle and begin another lunar cycle? Well, we got the Page of Cups reversed. The Page of Cups reversed as an ending shows us that we are no longer hiding from inspiration, imagination, and the gifts of our intuition. I think justice showing up is saying you are having the proper reaction to imagination, intuition, and all of those deep things. But the Page of Cups reverse showing up as an ending is saying that I think to make room for justice, there's no longer this need or desire or problem of not engaging or not having access to your beautiful, essential, inspirational intuition and imagination. When the page is upright, they tend to find a sense of playfulness in what they discover from their intuition. They let their intuition speak and then they dive in. So I think there's a sense here that what's ending is any kind of concept that we cannot just engage with imagination for imagination's sake, not engage with our intuitive, creative flow. That's ending. We are opening up to imagination and intuition. We are opening ourselves up to the flow of our passion and our creativity, creative passion in particular. Again, justice here is deep down in there, reminding us and validating that what we hear from that imagination and intuition, what we find there, can be and will be appropriately analyzed, but you don't have to give up the sense of fun around that either because of the Page of Cups showing up as reversed as an ending. What's beginning, though, I think maybe speaks to the combination of this idea of a fun, engaged, inspired approach to our deep inside psyche, our deep internal psyche, and the sense of analytical, pragmatic justice. The combination of those two things, I think, combine to kind of show us what's beginning. In beginning, we got the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands as a beginning could be a warning, but I think because it's upright, it's more of an indication. The Five of Wands here is saying that as a beginning, or what is beginning, is a little bit of competition. It could be an internal competition. It could be the competition between the aspects that justice is trying to balance. It could be a competition between the different parts of you that want to really dive into imagination and your intuition, and the side of you that can't accept the ending of that part of you. It could be the competition between that. Because we got the 3 of Cups in the spread and in the above position, I think juxtaposed against that, there's this idea of potential infighting in our communities. I think it's a reason the 3 showed up. I think the 3 is saying, don't forget to celebrate your wins. The 5, while it is a competition, they're kind of actively engaged. There's not a sense of the darker side of that competition. It's almost like people pushing each other to be the best that they can be. Someone knows you can do better, so they're trying to push you to do that. Or they want to do better so that they can match what you're doing. That kind of idea. But there is the idea of competition. So I think this spread, and I think justice showed up here, this was an honor of death. So we are in this transformative space between celebrating with our groups and maybe competing with our groups and maybe going back and forth of properly analyzing and balancing all the different sides of our deepest selves, and also finding pleasure in that side of us as well. In choosing to allow that to happen, allow joy to step in, allow joy to combine with intuition and imagination. This idea that there's an analytical but also a fun approach to our deepest selves. I think the juxtaposition of those cards with death right in the middle, I think really speaks to beginnings and endings, but also to transformation. Things aren't always going to flow in one direction. Things could flow back and forth. I think getting these 2 group cards where there's this idea of celebration and competition, and then getting these 2 individual cards where there's a sense of analytical, pragmatic analyzing and joyful, engaged, impassioned, inspirational analysis as well. I think the juxtaposition of that with death in the middle shows that there could be some back and forth. I do think, though, that because this is a new moon, because setting an intention is going to be so important for us, especially if we're going to be able to take advantage of that Mars Cazimi at the end of the week, we need to continue, of course, to celebrate in the outside world, celebrate with our communities. We need to prepare for a little bit of competition as well in those communities. So center your intention around that. We also need to make sure that we are trusting our intuition, trusting that we are able to balance all that we're finding, but also trust that you're done with the phase where you can no longer enjoy what you find deep down. Maybe that leads to some competition. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that leads to celebration. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it leads to both. And sometimes it's one and sometimes it's the other. What you find inside, in that deepest part of you, what Scorpio's been helping you reveal, what this new moon certainly will help you reveal, is where you are in that transformation, accepting that transformation, setting an intention to move forward, and then letting the rest of this week's astrology add a bunch of clarity to that to help you manifest that intention in the best way possible, to be the most effective. So we can still celebrate, we can still be competitive and active in our communities, we can know what we are deep inside and trust that, but also have fun with it. I really hope we do. This new moon is really consequential. This Mars Cazimi at the end of the week, the clarity that it provides will be really intense and really consequential. The new moon's also going to be intense. So let's just set up our intentions. Set up an intention today. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be as deep as all of that. It just needs to be something that you want to start. Something that you want to begin. I can't wait to see what that is. I hope you have a beautiful new moon. I hope it is a refreshing, exciting, balanced start. I know it'll be intense, so I hope it's all of those things too. And I can't wait to go through this with you together. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.